Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. It's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing all right and are ready for a great day. You know, one thing we always like to do is interview elite people who are doing elite things. And we're going to do that today, but we're going to set you up to be elite too. And that is be elite and giving back to your community. And when I think of that, I think of Ellie McIntyre. Ellie, thanks for joining us. Introduce yourself to everybody. Tell them who you are, a little bit about you and your business, and then we'll get started.
Hopefully everybody knows who I am already. Just kidding. Ellie McIntyre, I work the Central Maryland area. I've been in the business for about 20 years. My team is called Epic with a K Home Group. And one of my favorite things is to give back to my community, which I live in. So that's me.
And you're great at it. And we're going to learn from you today about a project that you've done, Blessing Baskets. I feel like I first heard about Blessing Baskets from you a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. You then, in a group that you lead along with Lee Corey called Early Birds, which is a really great group. It's a role play and practice group that meets on Clubhouse at 6:30 Eastern time. Everybody watching this should be on that. You guys talked about this in your Early Birds group last year and really kind of exploded. And so I reached out to you and said, well, let's talk about it to a larger community too, and just see how many agents can we get to impact their community at a high level around the holidays. So share a little bit with us kind of the concept of a blessing basket, what it is, and then we're going to chunk down for everybody how it works. We're going to give you a playbook so you can go implement it and talk a little bit about how we'll do it as a community. So tell us a little bit about what it is.
Okay, so I didn't come up with the idea. In fact, Howard County, the realtors do that as well. I just kind of took the idea and made it into my own. So the concept is that you ask the haves to kind of help out the have-nots. And we started this in 2021. And in 2021 is obviously right in the middle of COVID. The idea is that you fill a grocery bag with everything you could possibly need for a Thanksgiving meal. And then you give it to somebody who's in need, who's a little food insecure, and they have everything possible for a nice Thanksgiving with their family. And then also we asked, if people have enough funds to maybe put dog food or cleaning supplies and kind of give them carte blanche to make this beautiful basket that's a blessing to another family.
It's really smart, and you guys have done this a couple of years. I think you said you did about 100 baskets in 2021. 98 baskets. You did 138 baskets in 22, so last year, and partnered with 6 schools in this. And then you have a goal of 200 baskets for your team this year. Your Early Birds group did 2,000 baskets last year. And we said, well, let's 10X that, right? And see if as a pivot and inspire community and inside our KW family and then our friends who are outside of KW, can we do 20,000 baskets all across the world this year to impact families? And so what Ellie and I are going to do now is break down the process, because it's a run up to pull this off. And then Ellie has shared her playbook that we'll tell you how to download in just a minute, so you can go step by step by step. But let's go step by step real quick and talk about it, because you and I are having this conversation in August, and now's the time to start, right?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that prior planning prevents poor performance. There's a couple of factors if you're brand new into this that you definitely want to put into place. I mean, it doesn't hurt to just copy everything that we've done, but there are some things that you have to consider. I have another agent that's in Havre de Grace. She has actually followed me with doing it at the same time. And she actually did her first year, and she didn't think it was going to be very big, and she had almost 50 baskets. So you don't have to overthink this. It's super simple. You're just the person that's going to pull every entity together and make it into a great event. And it really doesn't matter if you bring in 10 baskets or 10,000 baskets. Obviously, that's a large number there, but it's the small amount that will help another family. So that's the main key, is there to help other people. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is figure out who you want to be your recipient. So this is all in the playbook right here. Who's going to be the persons that get the baskets? Now, in my case, I have a really great relationship with all of our elementary schools in my town. We do our nonprofit in a lot of the schools. So I already have relationships with some of the school counselors. So the idea was that the school counselors would be the ones that determine who were going to get the baskets. And hindsight's 2020. That was actually the best idea possible. Just kind of watching Rebecca do it and have it a grace. When she did it, she went to the point where she delivered the baskets. And that's not what you want to do. So you're going to have the benefit of watching what we've done, what we've failed at, and what we've done well to make your blessing basket event really successful.
Yeah, and so you want to partner real quick. You want to partner with somebody that makes sense to partner with. In your case, it's a school. That probably makes a lot of sense to get with your local school or school district. Now, a piece of advice you gave was because the concept is we're taking these assembled baskets, right, for a Thanksgiving that may have different things. And the idea is then that basket gets handed to a family. If you give it to a food bank, if you choose to go that route, they're going to disassemble the basket and redistribute the stuff. So you just want to be prepared for that. And that you're saying partnering with a school or maybe a non-food bank community organization may be better for this particular event.
Yeah, I mean, you could partner with a church. You know, churches also know people that are in need. The reason why I did it with the school is that obviously the school counselors are boots on the ground when it comes to seeing who's in need. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the lower income level. We had a family one year whose mother just had a brain aneurysm and the dad was out of work and they needed some help. And, you know, thankfully now they're back on their feet, but they are the people that can identify who needs these baskets. So that was the reason why we go with the school.
Yeah. So step one's partner. Who are we gonna do this for? Who are we gonna partner with, and who are we gonna do this with? And there's gonna be likely some steps and things you need to go through to pull that out, which is why we're saying start now. That's step one. Now, step two is now we want to plan for the event. The idea is that you set up a client event that's your blessing basket drop-off day. And so now let's walk through that. And you say the location where you do this is key. The place where you have people bring in their baskets to your drop-off day event is absolutely key. Talk to us about that.
Well, if you figure that the blessing basket itself is super heavy, and if you have some people asked you, and you know, I'd love to have a mastermind about with other people about what was good and what did work and what didn't work. I think Sasha Singh did it in a parking lot and it rained. But that's not a bad idea either. We actually do it. So our event is in at a restaurant, and they put up a tent through COVID, and they weren't using the tent because it's kind of cold in November in Maryland. So fortunately, he didn't charge me anything. He said we could use the tent, and we kind of combined that. And as we grow, we encourage people to stay and eat dinner at the restaurant. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. So the tent is really close to the parking lot. Like if you have a market center that doesn't have an elevator, that would be a really tough place to kind of take a blessing basket to. So the location is super key. So you've got to kind of figure out what you're going to do.
Well, and recognizing again that and you're the queen of this, being this connector in your community. So if you go to a local restaurant, some sort of place like that that's got the space for it, and maybe on a night that's not a busier night for them, so it can bring some people in, they're going to be real happy. And that leads to the next part, which is when should you do this collection event? And you have some thoughts around that too. So what have you found is the best timing for the date to host this event?
Okay, so you obviously want enough time for the school counselors or whoever to get the baskets to the families in need. So we've always done ours a week before Thanksgiving. There's not a lot going on. This year, we usually do it on a Thursday, but this year we're on a Wednesday because there is actually a night game for the Ravens, and that would be the death of the event. We wouldn't get anybody out. So you've got to kind of watch out what's going on. So we do it the Wednesday this year before Thanksgiving, which also is a quieter day for the restaurant, and we can get other people to come and help out because there's not a lot happening on that same day. So that one's important.
Yeah, all right. So here's our steps, right? So first, who we're going to partner with. You partner with the school. You talk to the counselors. That's where the baskets are going. Next, who's going to help me collect these? Who am I going to partner with for the collection so I can highlight somebody else in the community? You choose a local restaurant. You've picked your date. It's going to be a week before. It's 8 days before Thanksgiving, so you have time to collect. You then need to get them over to the school in some way. So you've got a system. What do? You just load them up and take them over to the school? Does the restaurant help you? What's the
That's the
plan?
best part. Not at all. So I invite the school counselors to come to me, and they come to the event. And then, I mean, that's why I invite many schools. I mean, obviously the first day we had no idea who was going to happen, but that comes back to everything that I've always done. You always do a Google form. You want people to sign up for this event for many reasons. One, you want the buy-in to the people, and you know they're going to come. Secondly, what else do we want? We want all their contact information, because after the event, we want to thank them as well. So they sign up. So you kind of get an idea of how many baskets people are bringing. So the counselors come to the event, and when we cut it off at like 7 o'clock at night, we basically say, okay, we've got 100 baskets here. We have 6 schools, or no, 5, because I'm not that smart with math. 5 schools here. You've all got 20 baskets. Off you go. And they just go like, they were like locusts, actually. And they just took all the baskets, and they brought enough transportation, and they took them themselves to their schools. So after about 15 minutes, we had nothing in the entire space. I didn't have to worry about schlepping baskets around, and it was a win-win situation.
I like it. All right. So you do that. So now you want the community to know about it. And this is where you really show up, right? This is the agent's job to reach out to your database, reach out to others in the community that may want to support it, other vendor partners, or maybe other nonprofits. So talk about the importance of that and walk us through what that looks like, Ellie.
Okay, so I may be a little different. I have a very active community page, and it's also a layered effect, which also I talk about a lot. So this is an opportunity for you to showcase yourself in a position that is helping out the community, and you want to put it everywhere. You're going to put it as an event on Facebook. If you have a community page that you're part of, put it on there. If you have a group, whoever possible that you can market this to. If you work a larger area, that's okay as well. You just invite more schools, but you are going to like I do farming in my neighborhood. So we put together these postcards on Canva, and we take these out. This is actually the image that we use when we do any of our marketing. We put it on the bottom of our signature on our emails, every email that goes out. Next door, you talk to community people as well. You just want to talk about this for a massive amount of time to let as many people as possible know about the event.
And you really start promoting it about 45 days out. We have this outlined in the playbook. So when you go download the playbook, which you can find in the files section if you're inside the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook group or Inspire Facebook groups, and it's in both places. It's also at jamesdshaw.com. If you click Agent Interviews, you'll find it right in there at jamesdshaw.com. And so you've laid it all out. The 45-day kind of, here's the thing. You got to create your registration link. You've got postcards to send out. You got mailers. Then you've got, literally, you can do hundreds of touches around this event. You can do social media stuff. You can post in various Facebook groups. And then another key is, let's say you're partnering with the school. If you do some stuff for the school, they'll send it out. They can send a flyer home with the kids. The PTA can send videos out. They can post it on their Facebook group. There's a ton of ways that you can get this out. That's kind of the 45-day mark. 30 days, you say you want to get some vendors in and do some follow-up for if you've done this in the past or people you've worked with in the past, you want to reach out to them about a month in advance. What are we doing there? What's happening with that?
It's not necessarily vendors. We partner because we have enough space. Last year, somebody reached out and said, can we do a coat drive? And everything that you add to the event is another announcement. It's another reason to touch everybody. So when we added the coat drive, it's like, hey, if you have some coats and you'd like to bring, then X will be collecting coat drive. When we added Santa, when Santa said he was coming, we're like, hey, don't forget to bring the kids, hang out because Santa's coming. And then when we added the Jeep parade to thank everybody that brought a blessing basket, we had Jeeps that came as well. So that was another post. So it's just a constant saturating the market of this event, and you make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, you're going to work on it. I mean, the first year might not be massive. Joanna Brown up in Frederick, she collected like 130 baskets herself, and she was just blown away by this. And I know that she's taking some things and she's going to do it better this year, but it's you just have an opportunity to put yourself in front of your clients, in front of your, your non-Mets, your community, anything that you can think of. This is that opportunity.
Yeah, and some people might hear what you're saying and go, I don't want to do all that. Well, then don't. Just go and set up this event. And if you collect 5 baskets, you've helped 5 families in your community this year that would not have had the support otherwise. So it doesn't have to have the Jeep Parade and Santa and the coat drive. You start small on these things and build, and that's, Ellie, exactly what you've done. And again, the playbook outlines this all for you. Now, day of event, you've got some key things, right? You want to tell the media about it. They may choose to come. You also want to capture kind of your own video, and you might need some volunteers and some people to help collect and things like that. Tell us a little bit about the day of.
So the day of, obviously, we do a Facebook Live earlier on in the day. I do ask my preferred partners to come and help out, not to put their hand in their pocket. If they want to bring a basket, that's great. In fact, Jan Carl came up for the first one and was lovely to see her. We want my clients, I give them an opportunity. I have a lot of servant-hearted clients, and they love the fact that they get to come. And I especially have a couple of ladies who are in the military, and they just run it like a military maneuver. It's fantastic. So they're coming there. My lender comes and helps. We just want a really big group of people to be there to make it into a celebration as well. As people bring the baskets in, we have an opportunity to talk to them. It's just an amazing party event. So for the entire day, I mean, obviously you want all your marketing materials too. I mean, we have a tablecloth, we have our pens there, we have our grocery bags if people want to, grab one of those. As the baskets come in, we're counting them. Santa's walking around. It's just a really great event that you can include many people into.
Yeah, it's really smart. Ellie, I'm sure some people are going to go, hey, I probably want to give some guidance to people about what should be in the basket and what shouldn't be in the basket and stuff like that. What is your experience with that? And I think we're going to we'll have something in the playbook or the files that they could just download. But what are some of the key things that should be in the basket? And I think what you're doing is actually telling people what to put in it, right, when you send out the information.
Yeah, I mean, there's no gray area here. It says use a laundry basket. We don't want people to come in bags. The first year, I mean, I just took this list, which you'll get to see the list. It's really simple. We're not putting a turkey in there because obviously we're a week out, and so we do a gift card instead. Cans of corn, green beans, all the things that you have for a Thanksgiving meal. A dessert, non-perishable, and then at the bottom, it says extras if you're inclined, additional food, dog food, socks, toiletries, games, laundry detergent, etc. But what I will say is that without the first event we did, people were amazing. They put decorations on the baskets, that some people crocheted blankets. They really made an effort. They put lights on the basket, just colorful. They put it together. Abundance and generosity was just screaming out of the tent. And it really moves you as a person to see how generous people are in your community.
Yeah, what's that like? What's that like for you as the agent who's leading this charge and organizing it? How's it feel like for you to see people come in and drop these off and just the impact that it has to the community?
Well, I mean, it's amazing. It really is. A lot of my clients come, so there's a lot of celebration. On the day, I definitely want the restaurant to be acknowledged too. They always give us happy hour prices. Last year, it just worked out perfectly. Everybody went into the restaurant, and then Santa went through. I had some gift certificates. This is the same restaurant that sells 50% off gift certificates. So a $25 gift certificate is $12.50. So my clients, I'll go and give out some gift certificates, and they're really excited. We do a gift. We have this right here. Thank you for your blessing basket. Between now and December, come back in and you get 15% off. So that's a plus for the restaurant as well. So it promotes that. We also, the last 2 years, this year I'm going to be struggling. The last 2 years, we've had a Ravens player sign these, I forgot to grab one, these Nerf balls. And anybody that brings 2 baskets, I mean, you figure in the basket, it's about $50.
Yeah.
So anybody that brings 2 baskets, we have a Ravens player has signed one of these balls. but I've got to find somebody for this year. It's like I don't want to double up, but so it's just a massive celebration. And people, they love, towards the end of the night, they love walking around and seeing how creative and how just generous everybody is. And yes, do I put myself in front of it? Absolutely. Do we ask the media to come for that reason? Absolutely. I mean, it's just good for everybody.
Yeah, and it's a good kickoff event too for an agent who's not been doing events. This is a great way to get started and pour into the community, which is great. So what advice would you give to that person that's going, all right, I'm in, I want to do this, I'm going to download the playbook and I'm going to go implement all this stuff? What advice would you give them?
Come on to Early Birds. We talk about this a lot. One. Secondly, you don't need to spend any money. If you want to do a basket, that's great. To give Joanna a shout out again, she did a reel last year picking all the stuff off, and it was really cute. I mean, you could just play with this and have fun with it as well. This is an opportunity to speak to people that you may not speak to in other arenas. You're not selling something, you're doing something. And the whole concept of real estate is give, ask, receive, and you earn the right to do that if you are giving generously in situations like that. You shouldn't have to pay for anything. I mean, on my first event, we paid for the photographer, and honestly, I take everybody that helps me out, all my volunteers, to dinner, but that's it. So it's a really cost effective. So if somebody says they don't have the money to do this, this is the absolute best event for you because there is no cost. You are just the organizer and the person that brings it all together. And one last thing before I skip over it. Last year I had these made, and these are cards that we put into the baskets, and it may be a little bit risque, but it basically says, hopefully you enjoy this. As a local small real estate business, we appreciate you keeping us top of mind if you or anyone you know has a real estate need. We can assist locally, globally, etc. We rely on community referrals so we can continue our philanthropic endeavors in the community we serve. So a little bit of a
it's totally perfect. You should be doing that. Remember, the purpose of all your events, right, is to connect with your community and to create the opportunity for more business for you. That's absolutely true. You aren't a 501c3. You happen to have one, but you aren't a 501c3. You're a real estate professional, and you're doing what real estate agents are supposed to do, and that is impact the community. That's the whole point. That's what we do. So it's totally fine. I think it's great. Ellie, thank you for letting us inside of Pivot Shift Ahead and Inspire cooperate with you on this. Ellie mentioned she's going to talk about it a lot on Early Birds. We're going to talk about it a lot on Pivot and a lot in Inspire, like a lot, because we want every single one of you to get out there and impact your community. So, and Ellie, thank you. You're the best. I appreciate it. All of the playbook and all the stuff she's using and all that jazz, you can download inside Pivot Shift Ahead, inside Inspire, and at jamesdshaw.com. Ellie, thank you. You're the best. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.